Hey everybody, Tommy here, coming to you from beautiful hill country outside of Austin, Texas, and we're taking a look at the brand new Acura Integra. That's right, the return of a legend, the return of an icon. This is the 5th generation of Integra. The nameplate dates all the way back to 1986. Well, it's been gone here from the States for roughly 22 years. But it's back, baby, and back in a big way, because this is the most surprising car I have driven all year. It really is that good. So let's go ahead and start it up and talk about the new Integra. Manual transmission, foot on the clutch, give it a little wiggle, and then push button start. Woohoo! This is gonna be a fun one. Now they're calling this the 5th generation of Integra, even though the 4th generation sold here in the US wasn't marketed as an Integra. That of course is the Acura RSX from the early 2000s, but abroad it was called the Integra, so they're calling this the 5th generation of Acura Integra. Oh man. Acura has flown me out here to Austin to experience this new model, and I say we take it for a ride. Now, first gear, it's got an electronic parking brake, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially with a manual transmission, but seatbelt on, first gear, and that electronic parking brake should release automatically, which it does. And let's see what all the hype is about. So, clutch engagement, very linear and very progressive. I would describe this as an extremely easy manual transmission to learn on if you've never driven a manual. It has this feathering feature with the throttle where if you lift the clutch up too quickly, it will automatically feed in some accelerator so that you don't stall out the engine. And this transmission is incredible. It really is a phenomenal manual transmission. Acura, Honda has always been known for their precise and really well engineered sticks, and in this instance this manual certainly falls into that category. It's just so nice to use. Now the shift knob itself is actually very small. I've got fairly large hands and I can just dwarf that shift knob, but it feels really good. It's leather wrapped, it's got this aluminum finish on it, and the precision, the throws between the gears are very tight, very little slop in between the gates, and just a lovely thing to use. Now, one thing you might notice, I'm in 4th gear going 44 miles an hour. Let me downshift in a second. You hear that? That was all the car, that was not me. So the Integra with the manual transmission has automatic rev matching. Here, I'll give you another demonstration. I'll even go into 6th gear. We'll hit 45 miles an hour into 2nd. Yep, revs jump up to 5,500, and that is all the car. And I have to say, I'm a big sucker for auto rev matching. Not only does it make you seem like a pro to all your friends and passengers, but it's just a great way to smoothly drive. If you're not a big fan of it, if you want to do the heel toe thing all yourself, you can disable it there in the infotainment, but I find it to be very unintrusive. It doesn't try to control my life. It just goes about doing its thing with you know, a lot of precision and a lot of precise engineering, but it doesn't get intrusive. Now, what about the engine? Well, the Integra is based on its sister car, the Honda Civic. And when Honda revealed this car several months ago, people, I mean, there was a lot of controversy surrounding this, right? But in my opinion, there really shouldn't be, because the Integra, if you look at its generations, it's always been related to the Civic. I mean, it's got its roots in the Honda Civic, and I mean, part of the thing is, right, the iconic Integra is the 3-door, right? So 2 main doors and the lift back in the rear. Whereas this new 5th generation is a 5-door, so you've got 4 doors, and then of course lift back in the back. But the thing is, the Integra launched in 1986 as a 5-door, so even if you go down that route, this vehicle is still true to its lineage. And being based on the new generation Civic is not a bad thing, because if you haven't noticed, the newest generation of Civic absolutely rocks. It's a great vehicle, dynamically, aesthetically, the interior quality is really good. And then of course you get the Integra, they take that to the next level. So from an exterior design standpoint, it's more progressive, it's more angular, it's more bold. From an interior standpoint, you can get crazy interior finishes like these red seats, which look fantastic, and the interior is a little bit nicer, and the quality of materials feels a little better. So this is like the best of the Civic, and not just any Civic, the SI, because this has the same 1.5 liter turbocharged VTEC engine as the SI, and it actually makes the exact same horsepower and torque, 200 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. Now they do tell me they have tuned this engine differently from the Honda, but whatever they've done, it's a phenomenal little powertrain. Now this competes with vehicles like the Mercedes CLA, the BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe, the Audi A3, and the primary engine in this class, the go-to 2-liter turbo. And a 2-liter turbo is fine in those vehicles, but regardless of the maker, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, they all have kind of a similar character. They make all their power very low in the rev range, and then there's not much up high, and it gets kind of buzzy. And they're great engines. They actually deliver more power, apples to apples, than the Integra, but they don't have nearly the same amount of character as this Acura. This little 1.5 is so rev happy. Let me go in a second and really rev it out. Into third, you get a little flash of the tack when you come up near red line. It's got so much soul. This engine pulls all the way up to 6,500 RPM, and it is willing to rev that high. And then when you hit like 53, 5,400 RPM, VTEC kicks in, yo, and it really kicks in. You can actually hear the audible difference. You get a little extra punch back in your seat as you hit those extra high RPMs. It's a phenomenal little engine, and it actually sounds pretty good. They do have some sound augmentation going on in here, but even on the outside, it doesn't sound half bad. And let's talk about the dynamic modes. Right now I'm just in comfort mode actually, which is like the chilled out driving around every day, but there's also a normal, and then plop it in a sport and things really liven up. So of course you do get some more engine augmentation on the inside, but it really has a big impact on how this car drives, because if you get this one, which is the A-spec with the technology package, you get adaptive dampers, and the dampers will change depending on the drive modes, and it really firms them up when you go into sport. Now I wouldn't recommend driving around every day in sport mode with the adaptive dampers because they are pretty firm. I mean, it's a pretty firm experience, but on a nice country back road such as the one we were on, it does make a big difference in the chassis dynamics. One thing I don't like about this vehicle from a driving standpoint, I think the steering's a little bit numb, and I don't like how when you go into sport mode it just gets so artificially heavy, and you don't get really any additional feel. It just kind of becomes extremely weighty, but the chassis is beautifully set up, and it is possible to get a significant amount of off throttle oversteer. So let's pitch it into this turn, second gear, auto rev matched over 5,000 RPM, turn in, sticks okay, a little bit of understeer, and then on the way out, VTEC kicks in, yo, at 5,500, brake for the next turn, a little bit of nosedive, loads up nicely, there's the rev limiter, and then into third. This car, if you get it with the manual transmission, also comes included with a mechanical limited slip diff. Not an electronic thing with brakes, but a mechanical system, which is a big deal. And if you want the manual transmission, you can only get it on the top spec Integra. Kind of an interesting choice there. So typically, if you want to stick in a lot of other vehicles, you gotta go for the bean can, the base model. But Acura is making the manual exclusively available for A-spec with the technology package. And they told us that based on initial reservations, over 65% of folks are speccing the Integra with the manual transmission, which seems pretty bold to me, because as we know in 2022, the manual transmission is a dying thing, but they're saying over 60% are going with the manual, which I think is pretty cool. So mechanical limited slip diff, so when you exit a turn, you know, that inside wheel starts spinning up, it'll force power to the outside wheel and just pull you around the corner, which is good. Of course, front wheel drive only though, so some of this vehicle's competition, especially from the Germans, are now available in all-wheel drive, but the Acura is sticking tried and true with the front-wheel drive formula. And that's great for places like Austin, Texas. If you live like I do in Colorado, right? I mean, it's a compromise. You want the amazing driving dynamics of the Integra. I personally think the dynamics of this far exceed the Mercedes, far exceed the BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe. I just love the way it drives. But in the big snowstorms, you know, it's a conversation to have. Now, one thing I don't like so much about the Integra from driving experience, these extreme contact tires, they don't provide a lot of grip for a car with such a dynamic and well thought out chassis. So they're a little too willing to let go too quickly, and they do feel a little bit mushy every now and then when you're really pushing it. So I'd like a better tire on this car. That's actually the first thing I would do, would be to spec out a good set of performance rubber. So for example, let's go ahead and leave the stoplight with a little bit of gusto here. So not full throttle, but even still, like half throttle, that was nothing but wheel spin. You know, and the limited slip diff certainly does help, but yeah, I'd like a stickier set of tires on this. That would be one of the first things that I would probably change on my personal Integra if I were to buy one. So let's go ahead and flip it around. We'll test the turning circle here. All right, not too bad. Reverse is all the way back and to the right. And we'll join up with the main road here and keep going with this first drive review. Now, I do think that this Integra does offer a lot of car for the money. So it starts at $30,800. It's a couple $1,000s more for the A-spec, which gives you some of the really nice appearance goodies. And then this one, the top spec, A-spec with technology, is $35,800. But for $35,800, not only do you get the manual transmission, which is great, but you also get dual zone automatic climate control, a 9-inch touchscreen display with wireless Apple CarPlay. You get wireless charging, which is nice, heated seats, and that's before you come to all of the safety gear. So it's got adaptive cruise control, it's got lane keep assist, and it also has lane centering, which is quite fancy. It's got the adaptive dampers, it's got this really nice red interior, which is available on all A-specs, and there's a bunch of different colors if you don't like the red. It's got an ELS Studio 3D sound system with 16 speakers, including speakers up here by your head. It's a lot of car. It's a lot of car for $35,800. It's easy to get the German competitors to this car well above 40 into the $50,000 range. This thing basically tops out at $36K, and you get so much for your money. And from a driving experience, there's not much I can fault it on, other than maybe the tires and a little bit of rev hang from this manual transmission. It really is a fantastic thing to drive. It's just lovely in the twisties. It's pretty good on the highway. It's nice and quiet. Now, it's not, of course, perfect from an interior and a tech standpoint. I don't love the Acura infotainment system. I mean, the widget system is fine, and it's decently high quality when you get it into certain menus, but it's a lot of kind of black and white. I'd love a little bit more color. Like, let's go into the Sirius XM page there. So there you go. They got a little bit of color there, but they could have got a little bit more creative with some of the design aspect there. I think it's a little bit dull. And I'm still not quite sold on the front end styling of this car. They've incorporated this new flush mounted grille, which it doesn't look bad. Like, it's a pretty decent looking grille, but I still think that Acura's design language is a little hit and miss in some instances. The back of this car is beautiful. The headlights are very cool, although a little too Civic for my mind. But the grille, this trapezoidal diamond grille, not sure it works super well. But when you get this car out onto a twisty road, it's so much fun. This is way more fun than like an A3 or, in my opinion, a 2 Series Grand Coupe. Dynamically, it's good. It does feel a little bigger than I'd like. There goes VTEC. You can actually hear it kick in the third gear. Whee! I mean, it's not a screamer in a straight line. It's only got 200 horsepower. But it does urge you. It just like, please, let's go fast. Let's go faster and faster and faster. And that's what I do like out of my luxury little sport car. It's a great thing to drive. Probably the fastest Integra ever. Oh, actually, some of the Type Rs from the early 2000s would probably give this car a run for its money. But guys, let me know what you think of the Integra in the comment section below. As always, this has been Tommy with TFL. Check out alltfl.com for all of our content in one convenient location.